guys sure you want to listen?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then whoever's talking, you can just...
We're both talking. Hi, my name is Kaylin Wadmore. Hi, my name is Samantha Soda. Do you have any questions?
Well, you need to introduce them.
Sid Pearson.
Yeah.
This is Judy Warren.
Judy Warren. And Jessica Newsel. Do you have any questions?
Or why don't they kind of explain what she does?
She trains dogs.
But
And she helps dogs with, like calm down, I think. Like, she help people with their dogs.
okay, maybe she can say a little bit about what she does.
You want to ask us what we're doing?
What do you, is this the only job you do?
No, it isn't.
It isn't?
No, all three of us have daytime jobs that we work at. My background is teaching, and so I teach graduate students during the week at the university. Judy and Jess can tell you what they do.
I help young people who are graduating from high school learn about and get jobs. And I'm an accountant.
So, go ahead.
How long have you been training?
The Spot & Company got started in 1994, so we've had the business for 21 years now. I started training in the late 80s. So,
Cool.
how about you guys? How long have you been here with me?
I'm going on 8 years here.
Yeah.
Starting my 16th year.
How many hours do you do? How many hours do you train dogs?
Well, the actual classes, this month is one of our busiest months because we have 2 classes, who's going to do the math? 2 classes on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 5 on Sunday, 2 on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday.
Wow.
So how many hours is that?
Love it. 17 hours.
That's about right. So we have 17 hours of class, and then as a business owner, I'm the one that answers the phones and gets people registered and then goes through the registrations and the vaccinations, and Judy helps me with that as well. I have too many to do, so that's a good thing.
And even though our classes are only an hour, we're usually here about another hour, hour and a half more, getting things set up and tearing them down.
So we usually come about a half an hour ahead of time and are here for about 45 minutes afterwards.
Wow.
Cleaning up dog hair, washing dog bowls, and it's like that other job I told you about. It's the behind the scenes stuff.
Is the dog, well, do you like dogs? Wait. Do you
You like dogs?
do you like other pets than dogs?
I think probably all three of us would say yes, that we have dogs and cats. And I think when you're in this line of work, you probably like animals in general. You like the animal world. Would you guys agree?
How many pets do you train?
How many pets? You mean like in class? So right now, if we have 17 classes, we probably have about between 150 and 160 dogs just for January and February alone. So about 150 dogs every 2 months. Maybe not quite that many because we don't run agility later, but I'd say at least 100, 120 every 2 sessions.
So during the year.
So I think I figured it out before to be 600 or 700 dogs a year.
Wow.
Wow. Has there been a class where you had to calm down a scared dog scared dog?
Yes. Maybe one of you guys would like to talk about how we do that.
I don't know, I'm thinking reactive. If we get a barky dog, and a barky dog can be scared, and sometimes it can just be one of those dogs who wants to talk to every other dog in class.
That makes
And
sense.
when we get one of those, we do things to help it do better. We'll help it work on paying attention to its owner. Because if it's paying attention to its owner, it can't be talking to all the other dogs in class. And then we do some things, especially if the dog's a little bit scared, to help it see that we all have good things happen when you interact with us. We give them lots of treats and pets. We make it really easy for them to feel comfortable. Kind of like you guys have done with us today. You know, you talked to us a little bit, made us feel comfortable before you started interviewing us. So we do that, and once dogs start to figure out that people really are nice and that people have treats, then they can relax a little bit. And for a dog who's really scared, we sometimes will set up kind of like a study corral for them back in the corner, where they can go back and not have to see all the other dogs, and they can just work on their skills there without having to worry about the other dogs and the other people watching them. And then as they get better and better at that, we then let them come out and do some work out in front of everyone else, and then sometimes they go back and study in a private study.
So it's usually just a few chairs and a blanket thrown over it. So it'd be like here, if we didn't want Gracie to be able to see the rest of the class, we'd put a little blanket up right here in front of the chairs, and then she'd be here kind of in her safe spot. The other thing that we always tell owners when they have a shy dog is when people come up to interact with their dog, the best thing is to give a treat but not try to pet, because this is safe. This isn't, when you're
Like
reaching
Gracie
for
was
it.
first day.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. So you let them make the first move so that they understand nothing is going to happen unless they want it to happen. So nobody's going to touch them unless they go up and want to be touched.
Photobomb.
Are you getting an ear?
Has any of the dogs ever got sick?
In class?
Yes. Yes. For a variety of reasons. Can you edit this at all?
Well, probably going to have to, because I got a lot of ears in here.
What Sue doesn't want to tell you is about, it was an agility class a few years ago, and there was a dog who came in who got really sick because it had eaten a dead possum out of its backyard.
Possum
and
that had been dead for a while.
And it threw up, and it was so nasty. It smelled so bad and icky.
I don't remember a possum. I remember a bluegill.
No, it was a possum.
It was a
yes.
possum. It was in a
Yes,
regular
and I
class,
do
but all the
remember
children.
that.
Oh.
So sometimes dogs come to class right after they've eaten something they shouldn't have, or sometimes if they've eaten a big meal right before they get to class. You guys saw how excited the dogs were. Sometimes if they're too excited, they'll lose their breakfast or their dinner. And so we always tell people to bring them, try not to feed them too much before they come to class so that doesn't happen. But generally people are really, really good about calling us to tell us if the dog doesn't feel well, they don't bring them in. Just so if it's something contagious, nobody else gets it. So we really are very careful about things like that, so all of the puppies stay healthy.
Yeah. Okay. What's your favorite type of breed? Like, favorite type of dog?
That one.
Photo bomber.
The photo bomber, yes. Every dog has unique characteristics about it. I live with beagles and a beagle mix.
I have mixed breed dogs. One that's a little silky terrier, just about 10 pounds, and then one that's a big yellow lab, and he's about 70 pounds. And then an old dog who is, who knows?
We don't know what she is. She's red. And Jessica, who do you live with?
I've got a little pit bull mix. We assume he's a mix. And then I have a black lab Great Pyrenees mix, and he's a big guy, about like that.
So I think a lot of it, it's always interesting to work with different dogs. Every dog that we put our hands on and train teaches us something. Some dogs are harder to work with because they're shy. just depends on their personality and what they're doing. So,
She's pooped.
I know she is. Bless her.
Yeah, our favorite breed is dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Do you like puppies or older dogs?
Oh my gosh.
Well, who doesn't love puppies? But
That's exactly right. There's nothing like a puppy.
But there's also nothing like an old dog, too. They're so different. It's like, do you like little kids or do you like big kids? And they both have really awesome things that
Like-
we're really lucky because we get to play with the puppies. But then sometimes we have dogs come to class who are 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. They're like old dogs.
Yeah.
And those are just as fun to have in class
We had
as the puppies.
a dog named Parsnip who was 15 who came to class.
Was he a big dog?
She was a very big dog. I know she was like a husky.
Oh, he was a
Mix.
husky.
Yeah, she was a mix, but that was what she looked like. But you know, that makes me think of another thing about puppies. We really, if you asked us when we want dogs to come to class, we would tell you we want them here as puppies, like you guys did with Gracie, just because there are really important things for them to learn at that age that are harder for them to learn when they're older. And so puppy, when they're just a few months old and they've had the right amount of shots, it's a really, really important time to get them to class.
What type of treats do you give your dogs?
Our dogs or the dogs in class?
Both.
All right.
well, one of my dogs has got severe food allergies, so he gets hypoallergenic treats in his food, which unfortunately means my other dog gets hypoallergenic
Yeah.
treats. But in class, where we have turkey hot dogs and cheese and
It's Grace's favorite. One of them.
How about you?
My dogs get anything that they get from milk bones to hot dogs to some special treat I might buy at the pet store. They can eat anything. Sometimes they get rabbit poop, usually out of the dog. That's their favorite treat.
Yeah,
That is a
right.
treat.
Gourmet.
Yeah, rabbit, deer, raccoon.
Oh yeah, the bigger the better.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So mine are lucky they can have anything.
Mine get regular dog treats, and sometimes they get a little piece of something I'm eating, but they always have to wait for it
Yeah.
and be polite about it.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of dogs do you have? Like, wait, how many dogs do you have?
I have 2.
I've got 2.
I have 3.
Is Gracie your only dog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a dog? 1.
What kind do you have?
Mean Terrier.
A Wheaten Terrier? Fuzzy Wuzzy.
Yeah. I have a question. Do you think that you're training more of the puppies or the people?
Oh, that's a really good question. Can I take that one?
I wish we were training puppies. But no, we teach people because we believe the most important thing the most important thing we can teach is people to have a good relationship with their dogs. And so all of our teaching goes to people, to families, so that they know how to interact and they know how to teach their dog, because that's the teaching that will go on for the rest of their lives. A class is 6 weeks, but you teach your dog all their life.
Usually by the second week in class, at least one person will come up to us and say, "Oh, I get it. This isn't about the dogs."
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever seen anybody that has been really harsh on their dog and you had to be really diplomatic on correcting the person?
Yes, and I think that's an important point. Every trainer has different ideas about what's acceptable and what isn't acceptable. And for us, physical punishment is just unacceptable. But the thing that we weigh when people come in here is trying to be very diplomatic about it and trying to encourage them to use a different method, because if it comes to them having to leave class, then we've lost the opportunity to educate. So whether there's a collar that isn't our favorite type of collar, or maybe somebody's doing a little bit too much jerking, you know, we'll try to model. Sometimes without even saying something, we'll pull a dog out to do a demo for that particular reason, just to show a different way to handle, so that you're not, you don't embarrass somebody about it, but they can see that their dog can still work with a different type of management.
And we're really lucky. We see people who, I mean, we can make a general assumption about anybody who comes to class. If you come here, you love your dog. If you come here, you want to teach your dog. And once you have that foundation in place, even somebody who's doing something that you think is horribly wrong, you know that they want to do the right thing. And so it really becomes our job to help them figure out there's a better way. Why, when you can teach your dog to do something in a way that's fun and empowering and motivating, would you do something to hurt them? And most people who would come to a class, once they figure that out, they go, well, why didn't they tell us that on TV?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And what training do you do?
Well, we do obedience training, so we'll take puppies and adult dogs and owners and teach basic skills like sit and stay and come here, lie down, walking on leash, and those things are pretty much for helping owners have a dog that's easy to live with. So a dog who's not pulling them on the ice, or a dog who's not bolting out the door when you open it in the morning to get your newspaper. So dogs have manners at home, so that they're easy to live with for the family and easy when company comes over. We have a couple of different types of classes that are general obedience classes, but then we also have agility, which is fun. It's a lot of fun and it's a good workout, but at the same time, we think owners learn a lot about handling in here too, how to get a dog to stay, wait. If your dog is reactive around another dog, which we have a little bit of this morning, it teaches them how to handle that particular situation when you're close to other dogs. We also have something called rally, which is kind of, I always describe it as drill team work for dogs. Yes, she's So dogs do different, they have a course that they follow, and they have different stations on the course, and so when they get to the first station, they might do a sit, then they might do a right turn, and then they might do a circle around their owner. So it's a little like choreography, but even though those are different from obedience, you still have to have good attention, and you still have to have good handling on the owner's part, and the dog is learning new skills. So we do a lot of different types of classes. Sometimes when people have taken lots of classes with us and want something new, we'll just have a short course where we do things like nose work, agility, tricks. We kind of do lots of different things just to have something different for some of the people who've been with us for 10 years or so.
Do you have what's the time when you stop on classes on weekends? Like what time do you stop? Like 8, 9?
Well, on weekends, on Sundays, we typically start at 1:30 with the class, and then we have a 2:30 class. And then that class finishes at 3:30, and we take a little break, and then we have a 4 o'clock class and a 5 o'clock class. In this session, we take a little break, and we have a 6:30 class. So generally, we'll have 2 classes together, and if we have more than that, we'll take a little break on Sundays. And put 2 more together, and generally that keeps us pretty well on schedule. The evenings we just have 2 classes because most people are working, and starting at 6:30 gives them time to get home and change clothes, have some supper, and then get to class. So we just do 2 during the evenings.
That's about it.
Do you see any of your dogs go on to other like a therapy dog or like that? Like they got their start here.
Yeah.
We see, I mean, I have 2 things popping. We see lots of our dogs doing therapy dog, doing the reading dog, the reading program with the schools. But we recently got a message from somebody who had rescued, who'd gotten a dog from the shelter. We do a project with the Iowa City Animal Care and Adoption Center, where on Sunday afternoons, they bring a dog into the beginner class. And this dog had come to that class with the shelter folks and then got adopted, and those people brought the dog to class. They've since moved to New York, and they sent us a video of everything this dog, who was not doing great in the shelter, is doing now, which includes obedience ring competition, dog diving, agility, tracking. I mean, it was incredible, and it was like, oh my goodness. And not only did you see a dog who people thought maybe wasn't going to be a good dog because someone gave it away, really do all these great things, but you saw people who came to our class not knowing anything about training, now being very, very skilled trainers and handlers. And that's really fun. And it's always fun to see a puppy like Gracie. Gracie definitely, I think, with some time could easily compete in agility. She loves it, and she's
she
very
does.
good at it.
Yes.
You know, and so we see that with some regularity, and it's what I think that and watching a shy dog all of a sudden go, oh, you're okay.
Yeah.
The two highlights of doing this stuff.
A lot of the dogs that go through the therapy test come here to practice before, not the test in particular, but some of the things we do meet and greet, which is part of the test, and which is a good skill for all dogs to have, to know how to approach another dog and how to wait, from walking nicely, being used to being in a crowd. So the class itself, just the makeup of the class, kind of helps them do a lot of the things that they may have to do for the test. So yeah, we see quite a few that are hospital dogs, go visit at the hospital and local nursing homes, and a lot. One of the people who was in class last night is taking a class to get ready for that and wants to do the READ program here in Iowa City with her dog. So yeah, that's pretty cool too.
You know what one of the coolest things is, as I look at you too, is I remember many years ago, a young man about your age came to class with his dog, and they trained and trained and trained. They had a great time. And they left, you know, they took 3 or 4 classes and they were done. And all of a sudden we run into them, and he's driving, he's working at Hy-Vee. And he says, oh yeah, and you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna become a vet. And all of his work with his puppy here in class kind of laid the foundation. And then he comes back to us and he says, Sue, can you help me with the dog that I've just adopted? And this dog is deaf and has some issues, and now he's a vet in Muscatine. He has his own business. He was your age, and now he, you know, so the cool thing is what we teach people carries on not only to maybe, since you guys are asking about dog training and gonna get that badge, you know, maybe someday you'll be doing this or doing something else with animals. And the most cool thing that I think about my job is I think if people can learn that you can treat dogs nicely, you can teach them without having to hit them or kick them or pinch them or hurt them, that maybe we'll realize we can do that with people as well.
Yeah.
That's my delusion.
It's a very good delusion. So, well, I think we've taken up a lot of their, you can thank them very much.
Thank you
Oh,
very
you're
much.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank